And then you start working your way down and you start closing out the cycles, right? And then the 9-year is like you guys unzipping that backpack in that meditation and pulling stuff out and letting go. So that's the personal year. Does anybody have any questions around that? Every personal year, you know, working with that energy, it will tell you how to be the most productive in the year. It will tell you how to work with the lessons of the year, and it will tell you how to best optimize, okay? Have the most energy. So again, any questions? No? So your life path, which there's so much, I mean, Carrie has dove into it. There's like something called an attitude number. There's something called the heart's number. There's like, you can do numerology around your address. So there's so much different information out there that you can go deeper in. But the life path is a lot about the core of who you are and the lessons and the shadows of yourself that you may experience in this life. And then also the highest vibration of you in this life. So we're going to talk about the flip of the coin in each one. Only specifically if there's people here that have that life path number. If there's not somebody here that has that life path number, then I'll skip it. So when I go through, just because I don't have the sheet next to me here, if you're a life path in that personal year, just raise your hand, okay? And I'll ask. Any questions before we dive in? Okay, so we're going to dive into 1. So you guys might want to take notes on the side, because if you're going forward, right, you're going to want to know how to prep for your years ahead. So life path 1, if you're a life path 1, who here's a life path 1 again? Yeah, lots of, okay, so it's so funny, because the mother-daughter, you guys are both life path 1s.
Miracles.
So, you know, the life path 1, it's a lot of kind of Aries energy in a way. It's the I. It's the I, the initiator. It is the pioneer. It's the individual. The low vibe is self-centeredness. The low vibe is also, I can do this all on my own. I can do this all on my own. I'm not going to ask for help. If I ask for help, they may mess it up or they may not do it how I like. It's a very I energy. Leader quality, pioneer, very instinctual, right? It's like working off of your instincts. The beautiful thing about the life path 1 is that you guys are great at freaking getting things going. Manifestors, fire energy. It's very masculine energy. So the ones are going to want to work on moving into their feminine as well, welcoming their feminine in. And that means asking for help. That means knowing when to delegate. That means knowing when to surrender and loosen your grip and not just have it so close to you. Be aware of isolation. Become inclusive. So welcoming people into your journey. And then it's holding, and when it's in its highest vibration, it is a really just leader. It's a very fair leader. It knows when to step back when it's in somebody else's zone of genius. And then it knows when to step up when it needs to take charge for the betterment of the whole. So they're learning a lot about themselves. It's kind of like this quest of personal development in this life. And being just aware and learning about what it means to be a leader. Does that make sense, you guys, for the life path 1s? Does that resonate? Mm-hmm. Do you guys have a hard time asking for help, would you say?
I've been getting better.
Better.
I'm practicing and I'm aware of it.
Mm-hmm. Perfect, yeah.
And delegation, I love delegation now.
Yes. Yeah, because you're supposed to lead, but you're supposed to also welcome people into the journey.
With not being in special ed for so long, I asked for help often because things became computerized and before it wasn't.
Okay, yeah, good. Yeah, anytime that you guys can speak up and know where there's holes, where can you ask somebody else that's in a better space to fill that hole, that's when you guys are in your highest vibration. But not having to do everything by yourself. The energy of the one can be so different. Like I had 2 different ones sitting at a table in the Philippines, and one was really like, I'm leader energy. It was a big personality. It was like taking charge on, the outings, all the stuff. And then the other one was more quiet, but like was a quiet strength, and they had completely different experiences, right? Maybe the one on the right had a hard time stepping back and not leading all the time, especially when it wasn't her place. She was just kind of the blind leading the blind. This one would secretly be handling everything on her own without asking for help. Like she planned her whole high school reunion by herself. Nobody else helped or pitched in. Taking the kids to school all the time when her son or her husband was sitting at home. So it can be expressed in so many different ways, but it will be along those themes. So you guys can imagine the personal year 1, it is all about new beginnings, fresh starts. It's a time to initiate dreams or ideas you've been incubating. I tell clients whenever I see that they're in their 1 year, I'm like, be curious. Please be curious. Be willing to try new things. And the other thing I tell them, because a lot of the times they'll be like, well, I don't know where to go. Like, I don't know what the next step is. I don't know and I'm like, you're not supposed to know 5 steps ahead in your 1 year. You're just supposed to barely know the first step. And then maybe you get that first step or just like a little sight and you take that. And then the second year, you'll get more momentum. So, you could be starting new jobs. You can be starting new relationships. You can have moved. You can be starting to pull those dreams off the shelf. You could be learning. In my 1 year, that was the year that I moved back from Bali, and I had to let that dream, but I had to let that plan go. I had no money because I put all my money into that house. I went through a breakup, so I was single in my 1 year in the beginning half. And then I just started diving into this work because I was just so a shell of myself that the only thing that I found solace in was my yoga mat. And from there I was like, I want to do this for others. I want to teach. When I got my yoga certification, on that trip I found breath work, went and got my breath work certification. And then I got a random email when I was out there, and it was about astrology. Started diving in my chart. So do you see how it was a step-by-step process? If I didn't take that initial step to go to my yoga mat, it would have not have led me to the next one and the next one. So that's the 1 year. Who here is in their 1 year? Oh,
That's right.
yeah. Have you guys been noticing that? Those themes?
I'm going to be going back to something that takes forever to master, and so I'm going to be starting to paint again.
To paint.
And so something.
And aren't you in your 2?
For life path?
No, for your personal year.
Well, personal, I'm 2. Sorry.
Yeah, you're in your 2. So last year, in 2024, it was.
I went to work.
You went back to work.
Went back to work.
Yeah. So a new cycle there.
Mm-hmm. But one of the things I liked was I started painting when I was a special ed teacher because it was a way to give to myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So even though I was teaching, I would do painting practice.
Yeah.
And I'd share with my students.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so you're filling up your own cup through painting. Yeah, because painting in a certain sense is a form of meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. So you got back into painting.
Well, I'm going to. Because
You're
when
going
my
to.
husband died, I couldn't paint.
Mm.
So that was closed.
Okay.
And so even though I wanted to go back to painting, it's been very slow and difficult.
Yeah. Well, you're in your 2. So I'll tell you about the 2 in a second also, because that you're in this new cycle. So it's about you're gaining your footing, right? You're gaining how is this new space? Where am I going? And it's a new way of doing things. That's what should be happening. And a new way of doing things in work even, or what area of your life is asking to be rebirthed. Okay, so any questions around that, the personal year 1? And if you guys look backwards,
Oh, it's personal year 1? Sorry, I thought it was life path, so
Because I thought it was like that too.
Life
I
path
just-
one?
I switched into that. I was explaining the life path one, and then I
Okay.
switched into the
Gotcha.
personal year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and what did I thought that I said that as I was explaining. I said, so the personal year 1. Did I not say that?
No, I think you said life path twice.
I thought you said
we both
personal
said
year.
yeah, twice.
I don't recall.
So no, and I know, and it doesn't. Yeah, Levi, run back the footage. No, I'm just joking.
Or you know what, I wrote down life path, so. Yeah, I thought you were talking about.
And so this is how I'll do it, you guys, is I'll explain the life path first, if there's life paths here. And then the personal year is what I'm explaining if you're in that personal year cycle.
So you just explained 2, personal year 2, right?
I just explained personal year 1. It's fresh cycle. That's really that is the epitome of the personal year 1.
Okay.
It's like the fresh cycle. The life path, you guys are learning about how not to carry everything on your own shoulders. It's leadership quality, but how are you going to be a leader in the highest vibration of your life, right? And so the personal year 1 is all about you guys, like what I explained with my 2020. That was my personal year 1, where I went to yoga training, I quit bartending, I moved back home with my parents. I mean, it was all new. That's the energy of the personal year 1. So it's a year for you guys to be curious. So if you look back through your years on your page,
Okay, I'm following now.
yeah, look back and when were you in a personal year 1? So 2020. Yeah, and what was going on during that time when you were experiencing, like, was there new beginnings?
Well, I had left my job in 2018, so it was still new beginnings in 2020, and then obviously, as everyone knows, the pandemic was
Yes.
definitely crushed down.
Yeah. And so that will tell you the theme of what this new cycle you're stepping into, a lot of the realm of it. And so in 2019, when you left your job in that 9 year, which we'll go over, it's a year of letting go.
I definitely felt that.
So do you get how that, are you guys following now? Yeah. Anybody else, like if you look back at a year 1, was it a pivotal year for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're starting with year 1 at 2025. You told me to work backwards for the cycle.
Yeah, because what year are you in right now? What's your...
I'm in life path 1, and I thought we were putting 2025 in our life path year, right?
No, you're going to put it in your personal year.
Okay, I didn't understand that, so.
No, that's okay. You could just, so why don't you just start fresh and on a new page? Because the personal year is what you're doing, because the personal year says changing. So you guys, the life path doesn't change, the personal year changes. So I would start on a new
That's
page
good to
list.
know.
Yeah.
So, life path doesn't change.
No, you're always that for the rest of your life.
I'm always a 1. I'm always 1.
It was a 7 or an 8?
Huh?
8.
We're always 1.
You guys are always ones. You guys are forever ones. Yeah. That doesn't change. That lesson within you guys doesn't change.
And then go, oh, 2024.
So you, what's your life path 5? So that when I explain life path 5, that doesn't change for you.
Yeah.
So,
Personal year 7.
Yeah.
No,
Is that
but
right?
this is just for, yes, this is right.
okay.
So you in 2019, you began a new cycle.
None of the numbers are right.
And then the next year.
So this is life path or personal year? Because I put personal year.
That's personal year.
Okay.
Yeah, personal year changes.
Personal year is because this is your this is your personal year, not your life. Oh, never mind.
No,
I see that.
So Liz, just don't worry about the life path. I just want you to focus on the personal year. Yeah.
I got it squared.
Okay, good.
What's your personal year? 9. So you put 9 would be 2025.
So are you guys getting it now? Does that make sense? I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that it does, what changes and what doesn't.
Which is funny because in 2018, when I would have kicked off, my big change was moving to San Diego from Northern California.
Yeah.
I relocated.
Yeah, so that's perfect. And a lot of the times, if we're following our intuition and those little nudges, we will be in alignment with our personal year. I'm telling you. I had somebody at one time in Costa Rica when I taught this that she was in her 1 year, she's getting the nudging to start her real estate. And she didn't do it, and she had all of her finances start to crash. And in her second year, because she didn't start that new beginning, then she started her real estate. So it will bleed over, like in your 9 year, if you're not letting go, it will bleed over into your 1 year. Like in my 9 year, me and my partner at that time were just freaking butting heads, like fighting. I was crying all the time, I had hormonal acne. Everything in that year was telling me to let it go. But I was too scared. And it bled over into my 1 year. Do you get what I mean?
So I have a question, because I had the year, my personal year is 9 as well. So if I'm 2025 here, I go.
Yeah, go up.
backwards, right?
Yeah, go backwards.
That's right.
Yeah. Because I used to not teach it, but it helps you guys give validation to your experience. And then you're like, oh, that's why I got that nudging to move. I was starting a fresh new cycle. Oh, that's why I went through that loss. I was in my 9 year. That's why I decided to leave that job. You know, and so it gives you validation with this life, and that we're not all just feathers floating in the wind. That I'm like, I don't know what it looks like, I don't know where it's at, but there's a divine orchestration. So that's why I like to do it that way.
And I just now decided that I'm gonna take the girls to Paris in 2033.
Is that your new cycle?
That will be a number one.
Oh, perfect.